I couldn't get the cap for the oil filter on the Farmall A to seal all the way around. It was leaking oil as if it had an incontinence problem. The problem was the gasket provided by the oil filter was about the size of a small piece of spaghetti in diameter. There was not any way that I could get everything back together and have no leaks. I ordered in what I thought was the proper size replacement gasket and made a stupid mistake. Hi anyone, I'm Scott Bain. They call me the old farmer. No matter how good you are, no matter how much you double-check everything, such as measuring twice, cut once, you will make a mistake. Most times it's a minor one. Other times it still would not be serious but is embarrassing. Hopefully there will not be any serious mistakes that can cause injury or similar levels of seriousness. But part of life is making mistakes and figuring out how to fix it or work around the issue. I needed a gasket that has an outside diameter of just under 4 inches. I wanted to have the gasket to be a 1/4 inch or so wide. I wanted enough wiggle room or slop to fit everything together and seal against any oil leaks. For those who are interested, the gasket needed to be only 1/8 of an inch thick. For those who are not interested, the gasket still could be as thin as 1/8 of an inch. Sterling Seal and Supply Incorporated had a website offering various size gaskets. They had one close enough to fit what I needed. I wanted an outside diameter of about 4 inches. Then it needed to be a 1/4 inch from the outside dimension to inside dimension. Take 4 inches and subtract a 1/4 inch should give you an inside dimension of 3 3/4 inches, right? Sterling has a gasket that has a diameter of 4.01 inches, and it has an inside diameter of 3.73 inches. It was close enough to my measurements to fit the bill. I ordered in a pack of 25. When I got them in, I saw that the gaskets were only 1/8 of an inch wide, not a 1/4 inch. I tried to make it work, but I had the same problem that I had with the spaghetti gasket furnished by the oil filter company. The person I called at Sterling, his name was Brian, and he explained it all to me. It would be correct if it was a thickness of a board, or a piece of wood, or something similar in shape that we were measuring. This gasket was a circle. That means if you want a 1/4 inch wide area to cover for slop, and I did have more than enough room for such slop, I have to take another 1/4 inch off for the other side of the gasket. The actual size of the gasket should be 4 inches by 3.5 inches by 1/8. No! This is what happened. When dealing with most things, such as in plumbing, you are dealing with either inside or outside dimensions. Seldom do you deal with both inside and outside dimensions. The last time I had to fit a gasket like this was back on the farm, and I had a model number to order for the gasket. Thinking back on it, I needed to replace a couple of gaskets during my adult years too, but again, it was only by model number. Mentally, I got sloppy. Brian explained it to me and was kind enough to say he does this all the time too. What he said was to email him the dimensions and he would custom cut for me the gaskets I needed. He said if I ordered 5, it would last me a lifetime and be about $15. So I sent him the dimensions along with what I wanted, a 1/4 inch gap for the slop, in addition to the outside and inside dimensions taken by calipers. In the meantime, I tried a stunt that I thought just might work. I wiped down the oil filter cover and then cleaned it with acetone until all the oil was off the cover. I like to buy super glue at the dollar store because I can get individual project-sized tubes, instead of doing one project and having the rest of the glue harden up on me. Each tube is enough for a typical project. So I glued the gasket in place by first gluing one spot and then gluing where the gasket bulged a little bit so that it was still on the edge of the cover. I took my time and slowly worked my way all the way around the cover so that the gasket would stay in place. After I had compression on the gasket, I didn't care if the glue failed. The compression would hold everything in place. It was holding the gasket in place strong enough that even normal handling did not dislodge the gasket. I put everything back together and tightened it down snug. I started up the tractor to see if there were any leaks. Woohoo! No leaks. After running the tractor for a few minutes to fill up the needed oil for the oil filter, I checked the oil level. Everything checked out as it should. I then took the tractor around to all the ground mole mounds and drove over them. I ran the tractor for maybe 10 minutes and checked. No leaks. Once the new gasket comes in, I will switch it out because this did work, but it was a make-do, and I could have problems in the future. So switching to the new gaskets will give me the confidence that I won't have an oil leak in the future. So what am I going to do with 23 gaskets? I used 2 through this process. I'll use them as bungee cords for tying up things that need tying. Too bad they're too small to tie up some of our elected officials. I want to thank Brian at Sterling Seal and Supply Incorporated for helping me out, even though I felt like what my old boss would call someone who did something stupid, a green donkey. Only he used the biblical term for donkey. Before we go, it's important to quickly mention for all who are visiting to subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, and share with friends and family. Now for the most important part. Thank you to those who have subscribed. Thank you. And yes, thank you to those who are visiting. We value you too. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so that we may receive a pittance from YouTube to cover expenses. We replaced one camera, tripod, and bought a water-cooled editor for video production, plus all the tools we review. So if you could help us reach that 1,000 subscription point, thank you. Well, this is the old farmer Scott Boehm. Be well, be safe, and be kind to someone.
Don't forget to click like and click subscribe on the Old Farmer YouTube channel. And thanks again for watching. Bye.
The VFW National Home for Children, providing families of veterans and active duty military opportunities for growth and development in a nurturing community. Please consider a donation to help their children and families. I.C. Rhodes speaking.